Did you know that a Russian experiment created domesticated foxes that you can keep at home just like dogs? Or that despite its terrifying appearance, the emperor scorpion is very docile and calm? Today, we'll explore some of the strangest pets you can have at home. Of course, we'll stick to those that you can legally own in most countries. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Domesticated Russian foxes. Domestication is a type of evolution where animals adapt to live with humans. In this case, it's not nature controlling evolution but us. This approach raises fascinating questions, such as, how does domestication change an animal physically and psychologically? Well, in 1959, Russian scientist Dmitry Belyaev asked this very question and conducted one of the most fascinating experiments in zoology. Belyaev acquired a farm of silver foxes and began selecting those that showed less aggression toward humans. He then allowed these foxes to breed and continued the process over several generations, replicating the conditions that led to dog domestication. This selective breeding has continued for 65 years, resulting in completely domesticated foxes that can now be kept as pets, making the project sustainable through the sale of these foxes as companion animals. In his experiment, Belyaev didn't choose foxes based on physical traits, but solely on their behavior. However, to the surprise of scientists, the foxes in later generations began to show physical changes, such as color spots and floppy ears, similar to dogs. Thus, domestication also had physical effects, even though it wasn't the initial goal. These domesticated foxes are legal in several countries, though not everywhere, and with each generation, they become more suitable as pets. Those who have lived with them describe their personalities as a mix of feline traits in a canine body. Tell us in the comments, would you keep a domesticated fox if you could? Emperor scorpions. I know, not everyone wants a pet with so many legs, big pincers, and certainly not one with a stinger. But surprisingly, the emperor scorpion is considered by many exotic pet enthusiasts to be one of the most docile and easy to care for arthropods. Emperor scorpions are among the largest in the world. Because of their size, they have few predators, which gives them a calm and docile disposition. Therefore, they are not bothered by human presence and are easy to maintain, at least in terms of invertebrate care. I know what you're thinking. What about the stinger? Isn't that dangerous? Well, emperor scorpions primarily hunt with their pincers, not their stinger. Their venom is surprisingly weak, comparable to that of a common bee, and they rarely sting anything larger than themselves. However, they can pinch with their pincers, so they should be handled with care. We don't recommend having one of these unless you have experience caring for arthropods, but it's interesting to know that there are surprisingly easy creatures to keep. Skunks. You might think that one of the world's smelliest animals would be the last thing someone would want at home, but you'd be surprised at how popular skunks have become as pets in recent years. And yes, I know it sounds like a joke, but it's not. In several parts of the United States and Europe, they have gained popularity as pets, to the point that in some U.S. states, they are sold in pet stores. In Ohio, there's even an annual convention for skunk owners that has been held for at least 16 years. Most owners have their scent glands surgically removed. According to those who keep them as pets, their care is similar to that of a ferret, and they tend to be calm animals once they adapt to their owners, even sleeping while being held. However, many people consider it cruel to keep these animals, as, while they can adapt to living with humans, they are not truly domesticated. Tell us in the comments, what do you think? Wild cats. There are wild felines that are similar in size to domestic cats, but keeping them as pets is a terrible idea. These felines are wild predators that need large territories and don't appreciate humans bothering them. If you decide to keep one, someone is likely to get hurt. So please, don't keep a wild feline as a pet. However, there are some options for those who want a mini tiger at home. Over several decades, breeders have managed to create cat breeds that mix wild feline genetics with that of common cats. These hybrids have gone through a selective breeding process to retain the fur patterns and body structure of wild cats, but they are completely domesticated. Examples of these breeds include Savannah cats, related to African servals, Bengal cats, related to Asian leopard cats, and Toigers, which have no relation to wild cats, but were bred to have a stripe pattern similar to that of tigers. And yes, although they may seem artificial, it's preferable to people acquiring wild cats and removing them from their habitat. At least these cats are 100% domesticated and adapted to living in a home. Xoloitzcuintli. According to Aztec mythology, if you were cruel to dogs, your soul would be trapped in the underworld forever, preventing your passage to the afterlife. And when the Aztecs thought of dogs, they thought of these companions. Let me introduce you to the Xoloitzcuintli. Mexico's hairless dogs have a history that dates back over 3,000 years, as they are direct descendants of domestic dogs that came to America with the first humans. They were revered by the Aztecs, Toltecs, Mayans, and other pre-Hispanic cultures who believed these canines guided the souls of the dead through the underworld to eternal life. For this reason, when someone died, these dogs were sacrificed and buried alongside their owners to accompany them on their spiritual journey. In addition to their spiritual role, Xoloitzcuintlis were valued for their healing properties, as it was believed that the heat from their skin helped alleviate pains like rheumatism. Their size ranges from about 10 to 24 inches in height, and the most distinctive feature of this breed is the lack of hair on most of their body, an adaptation that evolved to better regulate their temperature in the jungles and valleys of Mexico. Their skin is smooth and soft, though some may have tufts of hair on their heads, tails, and legs. There are also haired varieties, though they are less common. In terms of character, they are loyal, watchful, and affectionate. They are intelligent dogs and can be reserved with strangers, making them good guardians. However, they are very loving with their families and enjoy human company. Due to their lack of hair, they require specific care to protect their skin, which is susceptible to sunburn. It's recommended to apply sunscreen when they are outdoors for extended periods, especially if they have light skin. If you're from Mexico, give a like and subscribe. Maine Coon Cats. Did you know you can adopt the largest breed of cats in the world without any trouble? That's right. Let me introduce you to the Maine Coon Cats, the biggest in the world. The exact origin of these super cats is unclear, but they are believed to be related to wild cats from the Norwegian forests or Siberian felines. There are even local legends linking them to lynxes in the United States. What we do know is that they were very popular in the 19th century in the United States, lost popularity in the 20th century, and regained their fame in the 21st century. These felines can reach up to 16 inches in height and 32 inches in length, with long, dense fur. They also have a fur collar around their necks, similar to a mane, giving them a distinctive appearance. They look like little lions. What really makes these cats popular isn't just their size, but their friendly nature and calm disposition. They are often described as gentle giants for their size and amiable character. They are very social and get along well with people, other cats, and even dogs. They are adaptable cats and feel comfortable in different environments, whether in small apartments or large houses. They love the outdoors and have a more developed hunting instinct than other cats. Since their fur is long and thick, it requires regular grooming to prevent tangles. A weekly brushing is usually enough, though during shedding season, they may need it more often. Would you have one of these? I certainly would. Bearded dragons. Reptiles function differently from other animals. They are not usually social and do not place value on socialization. Therefore, domesticating a reptile is a difficult, if not impossible, task. However, as always, there are exceptions, and this is one of them. Let me introduce you to bearded dragons, one of the few lizards that can make good pets, although they require extra care. These reptiles are native to the arid lands of Australia. As a defense mechanism, they developed a large fold of skin filled with spines on the underside of their throat, known as a beard. When they feel threatened or want to show dominance, they inflate this beard, and the spines appear to rise, giving them an intimidating look. This trait makes them more docile than other lizards, making them easier to tame. They have a robust body and a long tail, which can account for more than half their total length. They can measure between 16 to 24 inches, depending on the species. Their skin, covered in scales, varies in color from brown, gray, yellow, orange, and even red. Bearded dragons are known for their calm and friendly behavior, to the point that they are one of the few reptiles that show interest in humans and enjoy being handled. They can recognize their caregivers and often like being petted. They are omnivores, and their diet includes both plants and insects. However, feeding them can be complicated as they require a varied diet, and live insects are necessary to keep them healthy. In captivity, bearded dragons need a spacious terrarium with a heat source and UVB light to mimic the conditions of their natural habitat. The terrarium should have a warm area for basking and a cooler zone for them to regulate their body temperature. It is also essential to provide hiding spots, such as rocks or caves, and branches for climbing. The temperature inside the terrarium should be maintained between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit in the cool area and between 98 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit in the warm area. They can live between 10 and 15 years, which implies a long-term commitment. It is crucial to educate yourself about their needs to provide them with a suitable environment and keep them healthy and happy. What can I say? You can have a lizard as a pet, but nobody said it would be easy. Pet rats. Personally, I'm not fond of rats. I've seen enough documentaries about the Black Death to feel any sympathy for them. However, there is a whole community of people who fervently defend rats as pets, and while it may sound odd, it's a reality. Pet rats are descendants of laboratory rats, which were domesticated starting in the 19th century when they began to be used for experiments. Over time, the most docile ones were selected for breeding, and thanks to their rapid reproduction, enough generations have passed for them to be fully domesticated. Nowadays, instead of being used in laboratories, they are bred as pets. They come in a wide variety of colors and fur types, ranging from black, white, gray, brown, beige, or a combination of these colors in solid, spotted, or speckled patterns. Their size varies between 8 to 12 inches in length, excluding the tail, which can add another 6 to 8 inches. They weigh between 0.55 to 1.1 pounds, depending on sex and genetics. Despite their bad reputation, rats are extremely intelligent and social animals. They are known for their ability to learn tricks, solve problems, and recognize their owners. In fact, they enjoy social interaction and often seek attention and human contact more than other rodents. That said, it's important to consider that rats have a relatively short lifespan, generally between 2 to 3 years, which means they won't be around for long. This serves as a reminder that we shouldn't always judge a book by its cover. Mini cows. There's a saying that a small cow will always be a calf. But then where do these little beauties fit in? Mini cows, also known as miniature cattle, are a smaller version of traditional cattle breeds that have gained popularity in recent years due to their compact size, friendly nature, and ability to adapt to smaller properties. Despite their reduced size, they retain all the characteristics of their larger counterparts, including milk and meat production, albeit on a smaller scale. They are not a specific breed, but rather a category of cattle selectively bred to achieve a smaller size than traditional cows. This development has involved selecting the smallest cattle breeds and breeding them to maintain their compact size. Some of the most common breeds in mini cow breeding include Dexter, miniature Jersey, miniature Hereford, and miniature Zebu. Interest in mini cows began to grow in the mid-20th century, especially in North America, where farmers and ranchers saw the value of having smaller livestock that requires less space and resources for grazing and breeding. Their smaller size makes handling and feeding easier and reduces the costs associated with raising traditional cattle. While traditional cows can measure over 60 inches tall and weigh between 1,000 to 2,000 pounds, mini cows generally measure between 36 to 48 inches tall and weigh between 500 to 1,000 pounds. Some can even be smaller, depending on the breed and specific breeding criteria. In terms of appearance, mini cows look very similar to their full-sized counterparts but retain impressive neoteny, which means they keep many traits of baby cows, giving them a sweet and adorable facial expression. Mini cows are known for their docile and friendly temperament, making them an excellent choice as companion animals. Yes, they can be pets, but keep in mind that, although they are smaller, they are still cows and need extensive pastures. So if you want one, you'll need to move to the countryside. Mini pigs. It's easy to think that a miniature version of a farm animal would make the perfect pet, and in some cases, that may be true, but the reality is much more complex, as is the case with famous mini pigs. Mini pigs, or teacup pigs, are a variety created from selectively breeding some of the smallest domestic pigs, such as the Vietnamese pig or the Göttingen pig from Germany. The idea was to create a pig that would remain small even in adulthood, although the outcome hasn't always met expectations. These pigs are particularly small in their early years and have a very cute appearance, but they are also intelligent and emotional beings, making them good pets. Between the 1980s and 1990s, there was some interest in integrating these pigs as household pets, but problems arose that prevented this from becoming a cultural phenomenon. Despite their name, mini pigs are not necessarily mini in the traditional sense. In adulthood, they can weigh between 66 to 154 pounds. This size is significantly smaller than that of a typical farm pig, which can weigh over 660 pounds, but often is not compatible with most homes and apartments. Sadly, this has led many people to have to say goodbye to their pigs when they reach adulthood. Baby pigs can live comfortably in a typical home, but adults simply do not fit, and keeping them in an urban context is not as easy as it is with dogs or cats. Moreover, they are more challenging to care for than these animals. Due to their intelligence, mini pigs require constant mental stimulation to avoid boredom, which can lead to undesirable behaviors, such as digging or chewing on household items. In summary, they can be good pets, but not for urban contexts. While in many countries it is legal to have mini pigs as pets, it is not always practical or feasible. Chinchillas. When you think of domestic rodents, guinea pigs or hamsters might come to mind. But there's a third, much more exotic option: chinchillas, which are as charming as they are extremely soft. These rodents, native to the Andes, are known for their incredibly dense fur. In fact, each hair follicle can have more than 50 hairs, which provides them with excellent protection against the Andean cold. Their fur is usually gray with white tones underneath, although there are other color varieties such as beige, black, white, and ebony due to selective breeding. Originally, chinchillas were hunted throughout the Andean mountain range, and ceremonial garments of Inca rulers included the fur of these animals. This practice continued with the arrival of the Spanish, but by the early 19th century, hunting was banned, and chinchillas began to be bred in captivity. This, after a couple of decades, created a subspecies of domestic chinchilla that can now be kept as a pet. Chinchillas are very active, intelligent, and curious animals. They love to explore, climb, jump, and play. Although they are nocturnal, they can adapt to their owners' schedules. They are social animals that enjoy the company of other chinchillas and can form strong bonds with their human caregivers. However, they can be shy and may need time to adjust to new people or environments. But with proper and consistent handling, they can become gentle and enjoy human contact. Additionally, they are adapted to feed on fibrous grasses found on the slopes of the Andes, which means they can eat hay, nuts, and fibrous plants that help with digestion and wear down their teeth, as their teeth grow continuously like other rodents. A peculiar characteristic of these animals is that they do not bathe in water. Instead, they clean themselves by taking dust baths with fine sand, which helps absorb oil and dirt from their fur, keeping their skin healthy. Dust baths should be provided regularly, about 2 to 3 times a week. English pouter pigeons. Wow, did you see that? What strange birds. But don't worry, they're not monstrous mutations or poorly executed effects from artificial intelligence. What we're looking at here is one of the most unusual domestic birds in the world, the English pouter pigeons. This breed of pigeon was developed in England in the 18th century. At that time, these birds were very useful to society, as they were used to send messages over long distances and also as food, similar to how we eat chicken today. Breeding them became a hobby for many English people, and there were exhibitions where breeders showcased their finest specimens. This led to the creation of truly unusual varieties through selective breeding, known as fancy pigeons, with the English pouter being one of the most famous. What makes these pigeons look so strange is their crop, a pouch for storing food located beneath the beak, which is greatly enlarged and covered in feathers. Normal pigeons inflate this crop with air to show off and display territorial behavior. But in the case of the English Pouter, the crop is disproportionately large, giving them an odd appearance. Additionally, their legs are quite long, contributing to their peculiar look. English Pouter pigeons are known for being friendly and sociable, with a relatively calm disposition. They are intelligent birds that can be trained to perform certain behaviors and respond well to human interaction. Due to their unique size and body structure, they are not the best flyers and prefer to walk or hop. And yes, in most countries, you can keep them as pets no matter how strange they may look. Irish Wolfhound. Wolves are much larger than dogs. Even large breeds like huskies seem small in comparison. But there's one breed of dog where this size difference fades away. The Irish Wolfhound, a dog you can keep as a pet. The Irish Wolfhound is a herding dog native to Ireland, originally bred to protect people and livestock from wolves, which were once quite common in Ireland. This is where their name comes from, as well as their large size, since these dogs had to face wolves almost constantly. In ancient times, the Irish Wolfhound was highly valued for its hunting skills, loyalty, and bravery, eventually becoming a symbol of Irish nobility. Males have a minimum height of 32 inches, while females measure at least 30 inches, although they can be even taller. Despite their large size and intimidating appearance, the Irish Wolfhound is known for its gentle and friendly nature. They are very affectionate and loyal dogs, ideal for families, including those with young children. They are patient and usually get along well with other animals. Due to their balanced temperament, they are rarely aggressive and are known to be gentle and calm. However, because of their size, it's important to train them from a young age to ensure they are manageable and respectful. Given their colossal size, Irish Wolfhounds need a lot of space, so keeping one in a small apartment is not advisable. But if you have a yard large enough, they can live comfortably. Aren't they adorable? If I had a farm, I would definitely have one of these. Hungarian Puli. What we have here is one of the strangest dog breeds you can find, and I think we've already noticed their resemblance to an old mop. But believe me, these curious little friends have a lot of history behind that tangled fur. Let me introduce you to the Hungarian Puli. This breed has over 1,000 years of history, originating when the nomadic Magyar tribes brought herding dogs to the region that is now Hungary. Pulis were used as herding dogs and livestock guardians, especially for sheep, due to their agility, intelligence, and ability to work closely with shepherds. The breed was developed to withstand the harsh weather conditions and rugged terrain of Hungary. Their dense corded coat not only protects them from the cold, but also acts as a curious armor against attacks from predators like wolves and bears. If a predator bit the dog, it would most likely just bite the strands of fur, leaving the skin intact. The Puli is a medium-sized dog, averaging between 14 and 18 inches tall and weighing between 22 and 33 pounds. Its most distinctive feature is its long corded coat, which can be black, white, gray, or a shade called Faco, a kind of cream or beige. This coat is double-layered, a soft, woolly undercoat and a coarser, more rugged outer coat. Over time, these two layers intertwine, forming the characteristic tufts or cords that give the Puli its unique appearance. As you can imagine, a Puli's cords require special care. While they don't need traditional brushing like other breeds, their cords must be separated and checked regularly to ensure they are clean and free of parasites, as they can accumulate dirt over time. Pulis should be bathed occasionally, but the drying process can be long due to the density of their fur. It's crucial to ensure that the coat is completely dry after a bath to avoid skin problems. Some owners prefer to keep the Puli's coat shorter for easier maintenance, especially if they aren't being kept as show dogs. They are excellent working dogs and can be trained for various tasks, from herding to canine sports like agility. Due to their alert nature and strong herding instinct, Pulis also make great guard dogs. They are reserved with strangers and always attentive to any unusual activity in their surroundings. Despite their relatively small size, they are courageous and won't hesitate to protect their family and home if necessary. These canines need a lot of physical and mental activity. They require daily exercise to release their energy and maintain their well-being. They are playful dogs that enjoy activities that challenge their minds and bodies. Without sufficient exercise and stimulation, they can easily become bored, which can lead to destructive behaviors. Glowfish. In the late 1990s, the first experiments in genetic engineering were conducted, and some were so successful that they seemed straight out of a science fiction movie. During this time, scientists in Singapore managed to introduce jellyfish and coral genes into the genome of zebrafish, activating these genes so that the fish's skin began to produce fluorescent proteins that glowed when exposed to certain types of light. The original goal of the scientists was to help detect pollutants in the water by adding fluorescent proteins to the fish, hoping they would change color in the presence of environmental toxins, thus acting as biological indicators. While this was not fully achieved, the scientists ended up with several genetically modified fish that glowed fluorescently. Later, the Texas-based company Yorktown Technologies obtained the license to market these fluorescent fish in 2003. Thus, the glowfish were born, the first genetically modified animals available to the public as pets. That's right, if you want, you can have a fluorescent mutant as a pet. Today, 2 decades after their creation, glowfish are available in a variety of colors and species, and it is legal to keep them as pets in almost all parts of the world. The most common are the zebra danios, the first glowfish developed, which have horizontal stripes and come in various fluorescent shades like red, green, orange, blue, purple, and pink. They were followed by the glowfish tetras, which became very popular because their translucent fins and bodies make the fluorescent colors stand out even more. Since then, glowfish have also been created from barbs, angelfish, and more recently, bettas. Caring for these curious mutants is no different from caring for regular fish, and aside from their fluorescence, they are exactly like normal fish. So don't worry, they won't turn into monsters beyond your understanding just because they have some added fluorescent genes. Since their introduction, glowfish have been the subject of debate. Some critics argue that genetically modifying animals for aesthetic purposes raises ethical concerns, meaning we have created a creature on purpose. There is also concern about the potential environmental impact if these fluorescent fish were to escape into the wild, as they could pass on their fluorescence to other fish. Fortunately, studies have indicated that glowfish do not survive well in wild environments and do not reproduce easily outside of captivity. In the United States and Latin America, glowfish are approved for sale and are not considered a risk to public health or the environment. However, their sale is prohibited in some regions of the world, such as the European Union, due to regulations regarding genetically modified organisms. Now tell me, which of these pets would you like to have? Leave your opinion in the comments. Here are 2 options that you'll surely love.